Hey everybody, I have some information to share about myself. I'm sorry I cannot talk any louder. It is what it is, so just turn your volume up if you need to, okay? So you guys know I'm under a doctor's care for my liver. And boy, the things I have learned, the symptoms and stuff like that, that's why my cheeks are rosy like this. That's from my liver. My cat is wanting out. Hold on. Okay. I got some bad news yesterday. Really bad news. Okay, so the last time I saw my primary doctor, or she's a nurse practitioner, okay? I finally told her, because it had gotten worse, I finally told her that I'm having really bad coughing spells. I said, and sometimes it's so bad I feel like I'm going to pass out. And she looked at me. She says, do you have an ENT? And me, with my scattered brain, I was like, what's an ENT? Stupid, I know. For those of you who do not know, it's an ear, nose, and throat doctor, okay? Anyway. So she gives me a referral, and I went by there and went ahead and set up the appointment. And that appointment was yesterday. Looking back, things are making sense now, and I'll get to that in a bit. But anyway, if I remember. So I go in, and I'm in the room, and the nurse is in there asking me all kinds of questions and about everything. Then this other female comes in, but she's dressed like a doctor, or more like a doctor, not a nurse. She's not a nurse, because she didn't have scrubs on or nothing like that. She had a dress on. Very well dressed. I think maybe she might have been a newer doctor. But she wasn't my doctor. That's not who I was going to see, but she came in. She says, I'm going to, she had talked to me for a few minutes, asking me questions. I cannot remember the questions, y'all. I cannot remember. I'm so scattered brain. It's bad. But they were focusing on the way I was talking. So she tells me, we're going to take a look inside your throat. And at first, it's not hitting me what they were going to be doing. She asked me if I was allergic to Afrin. I said, no, not that I know of. And when you buy, Afrin is a nasal spray that's over the counter in the stores, but the Afrin they give you at the ENT, it's numbing, okay? It numbs as well. She says, I'm going to give you some of this, and then the doctor will be in really soon. So she gives it to me on each side of my nose. So I'm like, okay, and I'm feeling of it, Didn't feel a really big difference, but okay. So after she walks out, and I'm waiting, and the doctor comes in. And you guys, I so much appreciate a straightforward doctor. One that's not scared to tell you what he needs to tell you. And I'm so grateful for that. I wish all doctors were like that. I don't like beating around the bush or using language that I have no idea what the heck they're talking about. I don't need technical terms. I need to just know. You know what I mean? I need to know what he's what I need to know right then and there. I don't want to have to look up words. Okay, so all right, just shut up and move on. So yeah, that was greatly appreciated. So he comes in after she did all that. He said, "Did she do it? The nasal thing?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'm going to do it again." I'm like, "Well, okay, weird, okay." He said, "Well, I want you good and numb." Why my nose? He said, "We're going to look at your throat with a camera, and we're going to go through your nose." He said, "It's better than going down your mouth because of gag reflexes and all that stuff." And he's right. Y'all, I threw up all over that man. Anyway, so he leaves me. He said, "I'll be back in about 5 minutes." And he leaves. And it was about 5 to 8 minutes. I'm sitting there waiting. And he comes back. And he comes back with the female doctor. So she's witnessing everything. He stuck it in my left nostril. I could feel it go down. I could feel everything. It was just, didn't hurt. It was uncomfortable, but it didn't hurt. And he said, "Well, there it is." He said, "See that?" And he's talking to the doctor. She's like, "Yeah, I see that." Blah, 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 blah. I cannot remember their exact words. I just was sitting there like, oh my God. So yeah, they found a spot on my vocal cords. And that's when he begins telling me. He said, "We don't know if it's pre-cancer or cancer." I've never heard of pre-cancer. I've heard of benign. I mean, what's the difference between benign and pre-cancer? I mean, I don't know. I need to find all this stuff out. I'll get to see him tomorrow. My husband will be with me, thank God. So yeah. He told me either way, I will be doing chemo. But tomorrow, I'm having a biopsy. And in order to get this biopsy, they're considering it as surgery. It is a surgery, is what they're telling me. And I've had biopsies before that were not considered surgery. So I don't know what the heck's going on. Anyway, you guys please bear with me. I'm trying to get all this straight in my head and then out my mouth. Where was I? He tells me, yeah, we got the spot, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, so he tells me, he said this needs to be done right away. So he opens the door, and he's sitting in a chair beside the door. He opens the door and hangs his head out and starts hollering at the nurses, saying, "Look at my schedule. When do I have, what's the closest time I have available?" And they said Wednesday. So this was Monday when I went to the doctor, and he's telling me Wednesday. He's like, "Okay, we're going to set it up for Wednesday." I'm like, what? This is moving way too fast, and I'm just being told. So he says, "Your doctor needs to do an all clear for us to proceed. So we're going to send these over straight to your doctor and get an approval." He said, "You're going to have to go in for your vitals. So I'm like, okay. So the nurse calls me, my nurse practitioner's nurse, which you guys, my doctor's office, everyone in there is phenomenal. However, that nurse, her name is Barbara, is extra phenomenal. She's so funny and just a great person to be around. She talks to you like she's known you freaking forever. And I'm pretty sure she talks to everybody like that. She calls me and she says, we need to set up for you to come in and do your vitals and check everything. Blood test, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, okay. And at the very end, she says, Teresa, I'm so sorry. That's what I broke. So you guys, please don't tell me you're sorry. Because it's my fault. Okay? It's from smoking. Some of you guys know that in August of last year, I lost my mother. I am so heartbroken. I miss her so much. I miss her so much. So freaking much. But it caused me to smoke more because I was trying to cope. And that's when my problems started. I started not being able to talk. It was bad. It's been bad ever since. And now, past month, it's been super bad. I can't lay down at night without just coughing and coughing and coughing. When I said I was looking back, things make sense now. Well, first, let me say, I asked the nurse today, I said, what exactly is the biopsy for? Well, no, I said, how do we know there's not more? She said, well, that's what we're going to find out tomorrow. I said, so he doesn't know if there's more? She said, no. Now, mind you, when I was at his office and he had just told me, he said, there's a spot. He showed it to me on the screen. He said, we're going to do chemo right here only. So apparently he was pretty confident that that's the only spot. But looking back, okay, there's been a couple of times that my nurse practitioner would have the blood work done. I'd meant to go in a week early to get blood work done. And she would say, your white blood cell count is pretty high. I'm going to give you an antibiotic. I'm not sure what's going on, but you must have an infection somewhere. And I would always say, it's probably my sinuses. But it never worked. In January, I had to go and have the procedure done. They go down your throat and look at your stomach and all that stuff. Because I was having such bad reflux that I would be doing stuff in the middle of the day and get reflux and start throwing up. Okay? So he tells me, he says, well, you had a stomach ulcer, but it's healed. And he's looking at me like, he didn't understand how I healed either. He said, you have inflammation of the esophagus. He said, and we're going to stretch your esophagus open. Y'all, that's painful. Okay? Very painful. My mouth is getting dry, y'all. So, my nurse, Barbara, she's asking me, did I look at my chart? And I said, no. I said, I just figured, I took everything, what he was telling me. She goes, he should have seen that back in January. She said, when you get home, look at your chart. She goes, I'm just saying. That cat is wanting back in, y'all. She's driving me insane. So she goes, I had to have an EKG done today. I didn't realize I was going to have to do that. Hold on a second. She's driving me insane. Okay, so I had to have an EKG done. They had to listen to my lungs, all kinds of stuff. And she says, and see, my doctor's office does blood tests, okay? But she says, I'm going to send you to the hospital to have it done. So I had to go over to the hospital to have the blood test done. She said, because the results are immediate. She said, we can't do that here. I said, okay. And they said, it has to be done today because your surgery is tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. So I go over there. And the lady that was registering me, she was looking at my chart. I say, I'm supposed to get 2 phone calls today for registration and all that stuff for tomorrow. She was looking at it. She said, they're going to call you. I said, yeah. But she gave me an estimate of what I have to pay just for tomorrow. That's not counting what I paid today or yesterday or out of pocket for tomorrow. It's $1,316.80. That's after insurance. The total price, $32,258.80. So to all you people that think you want to smoke a vape or smoke a cigarette, this is what you got to look forward to. Okay? So, I don't know anything about what's going to happen. I know nothing about chemotherapy. Nothing. I don't know if it's the kind of chemotherapy that's just bing, bada, boom, it's done. Or what. I hope it is. But he did say, I'm pretty sure he said it's going to be 6 weeks worth of chemo. I can't say that's for sure what it was. Oh, and another thing. I was having, when I was talking about looking back, now things make sense. I had asked my doctor about something. And she said, you need to go see an eye doctor. Anyway, what I was experiencing, and I still do every once in a while, but for about 2 weeks solid, I was experiencing when it's low light in my bedroom, and I just woke up. I opened my eyes, and there's big black spots in my eye, both eyes. What is that? Big ones. And I can't see. And I had to sit and wait for it to go away, along with the light. Along with the light. That don't make sense. With the light, turn a light on. Sometimes it was better than others. I could see it, but see through it. And sometimes I couldn't see through it at all. The black spot. I remember one morning my husband coming and waking me up, and I'm trying to look at him. I said, I can't see. So that was the worst day I'm hoping it's not related. I don't know what would cause that. You guys, I know what floaters are. I have floaters. I know that this is different. It's a big black spot. Okay? I have no idea what that is. And I'm so caught up right now in trying to take care of my liver, now trying to take care of cancer, and we don't even have the money to do this stuff, much less go and buy new glasses or, have tests done. I'm waiting to find out tomorrow how bad it is. He had told me, he said, well, I think I told y'all that simple stuff. You know, he says 96%, everything's good. But after I talked to the nurses and the stuff today, it made me think that, you know, he doesn't know if there's more. So how can it be that simple if he doesn't know how bad it is? That's why we're doing the biopsy. The crap that I got to do is ridiculous. You know, to be ready. I can only have liquids. And you guys, the only thing I can drink that's on the list is water and broth. And it has to be organic broth. I can't have anything that's got things that really don't belong in food. Gosh. So see, I got this little miniature booklet type thing. There's paper, different kinds of stuff to get me ready. What to expect. Hoarseness, cough, sore throat. I'm already doing that, so it may just be a little worse. Voice rest is important for 48 hours. Good Lord. Is that after or before? After this, a moderate speaking voice is recommended. So I need to shut up. It's hard, y'all. Avoid whispering, as this causes vocal strain and prolonged healing. So you guys, he told me I have to quit smoking. He said, right now we're trying to save your voice. He said, the next time we're going to be trying to save your life. He said, if I keep smoking, it most definitely will come back. It's a lot of crap. And my husband's going with me tomorrow, so he's working today. And he worked yesterday. He's off Wednesday and Thursday. Like I said, I don't know what to expect with the chemo. I don't know if I'm going to take it easily or if it's going to be real hard on me or what. So I'm assuming I'm not going to be able to work. Assuming. And if that's the fact, or if that's true, I know my words are not coming out right, y'all. That's why I make those faces. I gotta find another avenue to make money. So I was thinking I might do this every day to keep you guys informed on how things are going, how I'm feeling, how my doctor's office went. I'm thinking I might take some of these papers and blot out super sensitive info about myself and let y'all see some of it so y'all can understand what is going on and how much it's costing us. Now, you guys, my husband makes decent money, but he does not make enough. I have to work just to help him cover the bills and then buy groceries. If I can't work, we're in trouble. My sons do help. But one son has moved out. We only have one son here now. And he helps out as much as possible. I'm looking into doing smoothies. Because there's recipes in here for, let's see, fend off cancer. And that's the leafy ones. The green leafy stuff. It helps to fend off cancer, so, whatever. So I'm going to give it a try. Maybe I'll drink 1 or 2 a day. On top of whatever I eat, which is, there's not a whole lot I can have. My doctor told me, because I'm a liver, I can only have meat, vegetables, fruits, and berries. That's it. So last night I fixed me some turkey burgers and put it on lettuce. And it was pretty doggone good. I fixed it for my husband too. He loved it. I need to buy me some turkey bacon. I can't have regular bacon. It's not clean enough. And I'm not eating pork. So yeah. And you guys, I'm not on here begging for money. Not in the slightest. I'm not begging for money. But if you do want to help out, in the description down below will be a link to my Cash App. I will say that any amount helps. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be 10 cents and, be that much closer to paying a bill or whatever. I do not know how long this is going to last. If there's more than just that spot, then I don't know. I just want to get tomorrow over with and find out so I know what to prepare for. Do I need to plan my funeral? But if it's, something we can fight, I'm going to damn sure fight. People are telling me, you're strong, you're so strong. I'm typically strong for other people, you guys, but I don't know about myself. Okay. But I'm going to damn sure try. The first thing I have to do is quit smoking. She's wanting back out again. Will you stop, Missy? Good Lord. Somebody want a cat? You guys, my dog, for the past year, has been clinging to me. I go sit wherever, he's on my feet. I move to another room, he's right there with me. And now I know why. That dog ain't stupid, he knows. There's something wrong with me, I'm sick. So yeah. My cat's driving me crazy. So you guys, hopefully you'll hear from me tomorrow. If it's not too devastating. I don't know, we'll see. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.